maybe it's time to kick back a little bit. Kind of a cool day. I got the campfire going here. Pretty good roar. So maybe it's time to gather around the campfire and how about we share some camp stories? And I got a few camp stories today that just might help us as we continue that mission to keep people in our camp and make happy campers because we all like happy campers, right? So let me share my screen again. We do have some happy camp stories this morning. Let's explore a little bit and see what we've got to share. Camp Just Ask. Hey, let's everybody wants to visit Camp Just Ask. That might be a good place to start. You know, we've all heard, how do we recruit members? How do we get new members in our club? Well, we just go out and ask people. That's one of the first great ways to do that. But you know what, campers? Just ask works for retention too. If we just ask our campers what they like and why this camp is so great for them, we're going to hear lots of different things. And that's good because then we can get their opinions and their needs and their wants and put them all together, kind of make it a stew that makes everybody happy. You know what? Stew sounds pretty good today. You know, going to be lunchtime here before too long. So let's make some campfire stew this morning. Again, got the campfire going. Let's put on a big old pot of campfire stew. So how do we go about that? What are some of the ingredients that we need to gather when we're making that stew? Well, some of the best ingredients is knowing what our members want, what they need. So let's survey our members. We've heard that. That's been an emphasis for a while. Do club surveys, do analysis on a regular basis, because then we start getting perspectives, finding out what members need, what they like to take part in. Now I know you can say, you know, that Camp Master Kurt, he's been in Kiwanis forever. We know what projects he likes. We know what he wants to do, what his goals are. Sure. But you know what? I bet he doesn't eat lard anymore. This is one of my favorite old magazine ads because it's so fitting. I don't even think the Lard Information Council exists anymore. But 40 years ago, there was a Lard Information Council, and they were saying, hey, if you want to be a happy family, you need to eat lard. Well, when did we stop putting lard on our grocery list? Well, you know, that's why you do club surveys. Same concept. So you can find out what is today. Is it parquet or is it can't believe it's not butter? That's why you do the club surveys. You ask members, you get to know what they want today. And when we do those kind of things, when we ask those kind of questions, what are we really saying to our campers, to our members? We're saying we care about you. We want you to be involved. We want you to stay interested. But most of all, we're saying to them, we want you to stick around. We don't want you to show up on a deleted member list. So, okay, how do we go about asking our members? There's some great tools already out there for us. Achieving Club Excellence is a tool that Kiwanis International has put out there for us. I know that's a really long website there. We'll make sure you all get that link. You can go up on the Kiwanis.org website and search that out too. There's a multitude of tools that can help you and your club achieve excellence. That member satisfaction survey is just one of them. Open house, idea sharing, that's a great way to get what your members need, want to see, what the community wants to see. Now, I know we can't all get together right now like we want to. But campers, now is the time to start planning for those kind of things. You can do the member satisfaction survey now, and you can also plan for an open house coming up. Plan now, do it when we can do it. We're ready to go. But there's other ways we can survey our members and find out what they need too. And that's just ask. Jane already referenced the pre-registration or pre-camp survey, the questions we asked you to fill out. These are your questions right here. And they're great. They're excellent. They're awesome. And they're exactly what we need to be asking our members on a regular basis. Because when we get the answers to these kind of questions, these are the seasonings for our stew pot. This is what helps us make that wonderful aroma and great taste when we're ready to enjoy that big bubbling bowl of stew when it's dinner time, when it's chow time. So keep asking these questions. That's the good stuff. So what's the next step? We got the stew pot bubbling. We're getting some good answers. But we need something else to make it stew. We need the campfire. We need the heat. We need the passion. We need to get it to the point where that stew is bubbling and boiling and really starting to season through really good. So we got to light a fire. Our campers need a fire to make sure things happen. And how do we go about doing that? Well, one of the very basic ways is make sure our projects have purpose. You know, we talked a minute ago about making sure that our campers' needs today may not be what they were yesterday. But it's the same thing for our projects. Just because we did something 50 years ago doesn't mean it's meeting the needs of our community today. And it may not be meeting the needs of our members today. So if we review our projects, make sure they have purpose for today's needs, for today's kids. They may have more passion for our members and make them more connected, give them that purpose to take part. And of course, we always have to make sure they're focusing on kids because, hey, we know it. In Camp 206, we say it often, kids need Kiwanis. And we don't only say it, we need to make sure we light that fire and mean it, believe in it. When we're lighting that fire, we also have to make sure that it matters. Everything that we're doing needs to have some kind of matter factor in it. You know, we all have that member in our clubs and our camps that we don't see. They don't make meetings. They don't attend projects. Well, we just visited Camp Ask, so this makes it a difference here too. Let's ask them, talk to those inactive members, find out why maybe they're not attending. Is there at least one project they can take part in? Match their interests. Find out what they like. Say, hey, can't you make at least one project? You might be surprised the answer may be yes. And of course, we have to find a right mix for our projects too. We all have those members who, just kind of want to be in the background, don't want the spotlight on them. So maybe those small projects are perfect for them. Then again, we've got those members who want to be out there in the community saying, hey, this is Kiwanis. This is what we do. Make sure we're making members match the projects, their interest levels, what they like to see. And the other important thing, really important thing now, as we're figuring out how we move from the new normal of COVID to our new normal after COVID, is there are things going on right now that hasn't happened before. I've heard from multiple clubs that said, we have members showing up to meetings now that could never attend before, but virtually they can. So as we're planning how we're going to come out of COVID, how we're going to retain members, make sure we keep those members, those campers involved as well. Keep some of the new normal in our new normal. We often talk about projects, service projects, fundraisers, but we have to make meetings matter as well. And everything you're seeing on the right side of the screen, that's kind of the matter of a meeting. So if your club does a backpack program, a weekend food program at the school, why not invite a educator in, a counselor in from the school? Tell your clubs why it makes such a difference. The kids show up Monday morning, well-nourished and ready to learn. If it matters to the educators, make it matter to your members. They'll get behind the project a little bit better. And I'm always a firm believer in the Kiwanis moment. Sometimes we just forget about that. It's kind of an old term still work. Ask members at meetings, why do you join? Why do you stay a member of Kiwanis? Sometimes you'd be surprised one Kiwanis member sharing why they're a Kiwanian can spark in another member and make it even better for them. And of course, we all want to make it fun. Sometimes we get so stuck in tradition. Again, that whole, we've done this for 50 years. We don't always have to do that. So make it fun, make it informal. That's okay. Now, everything we've been talking about here so far has been getting people involved and lighting that fire and asking questions. And what this all really comes back to is we want our campers to want to visit camp, want to come back. And when we really think about it, that's when we make an investment. If members want to come back, it's because they feel as a club, we've invested in them. You know, the deepest principle in human nature really is feeling appreciated. Say thank you. Say thank you often. And I know we all do that. I'm kind of preaching to the campfire on that one, but it's important. And there's other ways we can make that important too. There's a lot of other stew seasonings that we can invest into our members. You know, I just said say thank you and say thank you often. How often do we take the time to put a thank you note in the mail or just even email after an event to all our committee members? Thank you for such a wonderful project. That fundraiser was awesome. Thanks for your hard work. Giving a gift card can be a little simple way to appreciate a member and make them feel that their club is investing in them. Maybe your club meets at a coffee shop in the morning. Hey, you've made every single meeting this year. Here's a coffee card. Here's a card to buy your next coffee for the next meeting or lunch meeting or whatever it is. You can celebrate member anniversaries, birthdays, anniversaries, all that sort of thing. I know a lot of clubs are already doing that, but if you talk to your clubs and they're not doing it, encourage them to. It will make a difference. Of course, we have lots of education and training opportunities. We got one going on today. Kiwanis International is offering the Amplified program. Our clubs need to support that. That's a great way to invest in our members, is to encourage them to attend. Right now at the district level, we're planning some education programs in August 6th and 7th is our district convention in Sioux City. Make sure our clubs are investing in our members by encouraging them to attend that. So that's a great way to do it. And something as simple as starting a buddy or mentor program can help add seasoning into your stew pot as well. And that's maybe something as simple as reaching out to that member that you don't see. Hey, are you having problems setting up Zoom? Let me help you. Once we get back in person, hey, haven't seen you at a meeting for a while. Can I stop by, pick you up, maybe walk you to the meeting? It's all a great way to get our members back involved and keep them happy. So a lot of ideas pitched out there, and I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, hey, there's really nothing new there, and there's not. This is kind of reinventing the wheel, but oftentimes, and this is true for my own club, We just don't think to do these kind of things. So it's good to be reminded. It's good to keep thinking through those kind of things. So we here at Camp 206 know we have to do those kind of things. We just need to commit ourselves to do it. But there's challenges. We know there's challenges. The survey that we sent out had everyone write their answers down to you in advance. When the question was asked of you, what are the biggest challenge facing our clubs today? There was pretty good consensus that it's membership. And the 4 that I have listed there, that kind of seemed, those were the ones that really popped out. So we know what the challenges are. We just have to figure out how are we going to go about seeing if we can come up with something to change the habits and trends that we're seeing right now. And these are the trends we're seeing right now. In our district, between October 10th and February 28th, we had 139 members that were deleted from our club's rosters. Of those, the club secretaries reported 128 reasons. That's what's on this pie chart. So let's move from that campfire stew to our pie chart here for a minute. Now, the one that kind of pops out at me is the smallest slice of the pie. Really? We have members dropping for lack of interest? Not so, you know what? We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's take a look at our 4 biggest slices of that pie. Blue up there on the top left, we know we can't change that 22 number. That's going to happen, especially when the age of our Kiwanians is up there just a little bit. But let's take a look at our other 3 slices. That yellow chunk of pie moving again. That one's a little tough to change because people are going to move. That's a part of life. But is there something we can do to recapture those campers? Can we maybe train our clubs to, when they know someone's moving, make sure we connect them with the club in their new community? Or can we maybe make sure that fire is burning so brightly that when they get to their new community, they want to join a new club? There's opportunity there. As Jane mentioned a bit ago, there's challenges, but there's always opportunity that comes with that. When we talk about lack of time and attendance, for me, those two kind of go hand in hand. Because if someone's not going to attend, it could be for lack of interest, but possibly the greater portion of that is they just don't have time. So how do we go about changing some of these trends? Well, what if we make sure to apply all the seasonings, all the ingredients in our campfire stew? What if we could find out why members aren't attending before they quit our clubs? What if we could help connect members to a club in a new community? Would doing some of these things change our pie? Change how those pieces sit in our pie? What if we knew what project was so important to a member that they would find time for it? All of a sudden now, they're not a member of the pie. They're back with the stew. Nice, thick, rich, hearty stew. Camp 206 stew. But here's the last what if. What if we could have helped those 5 members become interested? What if? Well, leaders in the Nebraska-Iowa district, I say challenge accepted. We need to take those what ifs and employ all the seasonings, ingredients that we're talking about in that Camp 206 stew and figure out how to start changing those trends. Start changing that pie graph and making sure our stew stays well seasoned. I accept that challenge, and I hope you do too, because the next step for us then is to make sure that we keep growing trees. Why? Because we need fire. We need passion. We need to keep the sparks lit. What if? We can do it. Challenge accepted, and I hope you're on board too.